Today we're going to be adding some more intermediate to advanced positions for our lower body mobility flow. This flow will be more challenging than the video I gave previously, so if you haven't checked out that video and worked on those positions, I would recommend starting there and then coming here for this more difficult lower body mobility flow. We're going to be adding 3 different elements, the first of which is the Cossack squat. To get into this position, we do 1, 2, 3 shoulder width distance apart. Then we squat down on one leg. Ideally, the heel stays down on this squatted leg, and the straight leg's toes lift towards the ceiling, and I maintain as upright a position as possible. If you can't keep the heel down, you can simply raise the heel off of the floor, and this can help you keep a more upright position, but it can challenge the balance a little bit more as well. So if this is challenging to lift the heel, but you can't keep the heel down, you can use a wedge, books, a towel, or anything to elevate the heel slightly, and this can help you get into a deeper position, maintain a more upright position, and get more comfort in this position as well, and over time you can lower this. If you are very, very high in the range, you can simply use anything like a chair, a table, and hold isometrically in the bottom position. This is going to be much more challenging from a strength perspective, so hold for just 5 to 10 seconds for multiple sets. Once we have this isometric position, we want to start bringing some motion to it. We're going to be going from one side Cossack squat to the other, dynamically moving as low as we can in the middle, kind of going through a horse stance-like position, moving back and forth between 3 to 6 repetitions, and we can repeat these for sets if we want to work on this specific quality, or just do one set if we're kind of warming up the position for the flow later on in the video. Now that we have this more dynamic position, we want to start to enter the floor and then return back to the Cossack squat. Now we're connecting the floor with this position. It can be much more challenging, so use the hands as much as you need and spend between 45 to 90 seconds changing sides on each rep. It is possible to do this without using the hands for assistance, but it is very challenging. So use the hands if you need to. You can also just return to the static hold or just go to the dynamic reps back and forth and slowly work up to being able to enter and exit the floor. And then we can use this piece in our lower body mobility flow later on. Our second position is the pistol squat. To enter this position, squat down with one leg in front of the other, lean backward until your heel touches the ground, and then slowly start to lift the front leg straight. Hold this position between 10 to 30 seconds on each side, making sure that you have good stability and improving this over time. This can be very challenging in the beginning, so just like the Cossack squat, you can use a wedge, books, towel, anything at all to elevate the heel, and this can greatly improve your ability to stay stable in this position. You can also keep the foot on the ground, use toes for assistance, use a wall for assistance, whatever you need in the beginning to kind of build this up. If this low range is not possible, then you can do exactly what we did with the Cossack, with elevated surface and holding isometrically between 5 to 10 seconds and slowly lowering this over time until you can reach that bottom range. Now that we have that isometric position, we want to start dynamically moving from pistol squat to pistol squat, performing between 3 to 6 reps on each side and using the squat as our transition piece. So notice I rotate 180 degrees, go into the pistol squat, another 180 degrees, pistol squat in the opposite direction. This can be extremely challenging in the beginning, so maybe you just lower as low as you can, not even touching the heel to the ground. And over time, maybe you can touch this heel to the ground, but you don't lift the front leg yet. And then you can reach the point where the heel touches and you lift the leg in the full position. Now that we have this dynamic repetition, now we want to enter and exit the floor using the pistol squat. It is possible to not use the hands the entire time, but it can be very challenging. So you can use the hands on the way down, on the way up, only on the way up, only on the way down, wherever you need it, performing between 45 to 90 seconds, switching sides on every repetition, making sure that you have control, no pain, no discomfort, no use of momentum, just controlling the range in and out of the floor. And our third position is the Eastern sit. Since this is a relatively easy position, we're going to skip the static and dynamic positions and go directly to the floor, entering through this Eastern sit and then exiting back to the floor. This can be done without the hands as I'm showing here, but it also can be very challenging. So use the hands whenever you need them. Again, 45 to 90 seconds, changing sides each rep, just like the previous 2 elements. This is so we get familiar with this entry piece and exit piece, and then we can use it in our flow later on. Now that we have these 3 positions and we can enter and exit the floor with them, we want to become comfortable with combining them in any way that is possible. So I set a timer between 60 to 90 seconds, and I'm using the Cossack squat, the pistol squat, and this Eastern sit to enter and exit the floor. I want to focus on keeping one slow, continuous motion, showing control, but I also want to find new connections between these 3 elements. So you can come down in one position, up in another, up in one position, down in another, and trying to find as many connections as you can so you can familiarize yourself with these new elements in an improvisation with the floor. You can use the hands as much as you need, wherever you need. Make sure you're controlling, no pain, no discomfort, and use any type of variation that you need. Now we combine everything together. This includes the 3 elements I've outlined in this video, but also the previous elements like the seiza sit, the fisherman, the squat that we worked on in the previous video. I can use all of these for one continuous flow. I set a timer between 90 seconds to 120 seconds, and I just try to move continuously through all of the positions that I know, trying to find new connections, using the pistol, using the Cossack, and using the other familiar elements that I worked on previously. I want to focus on keeping a continuous motion, no pausing, no stopping, and I can repeat as much as I need. If there is an element that is very challenging or causes pain or discomfort, I can simply take it out of this flow. I don't have to use it. So if the pistol squat is too difficult, but the Cossack is okay, then use this instead. Or the Eastern sit is too difficult, then take it out. You don't need to use it. In the beginning, you can repeat the same elements over and over as long as you keep this nice continuous motion. Over time, you'll be able to vary the elements, and now you have new connections, new ways of moving. You can work more intuitively, so what feels good on the body, but you can also work in different ways. So what is easy, what is challenging, what looks nice, what looks ugly. All of this is good to develop. We don't just want to get stuck on one specific quality like it feels good or it looks nice. We want to work on other qualities as well. As far as how much to do, you can do between 3 to 5 sets of this work. Anywhere from 2 to 3 times per week would be a good amount to make good progress on this. Some mistakes to avoid are any falling or use of momentum to come up or down. So if I notice I really have to pull myself up, then I'm probably using too difficult of a progression, and I should use the hands for assistance instead. Another mistake would be to pause and think about what you want to do without keeping this continuous motion. We want to make sure we have the thinking part and the moving part happening at the exact same time. So don't worry about repeating yourself as long as you keep the motion continuous, and over time you'll get better at thinking and moving at the same time, and you can vary the elements a lot. I hope you put these elements into practice either in an isolated static way, dynamically, or through this lower body mobility flow. If this one was too challenging for you, which it may have been, go back to my previous video that is more beginner friendly. I hope you use this if you can. Please leave any comments if you have certain questions or anything at all, and I will respond if I think I can respond. Thank you for watching. That's the session.